No, I'm trying to keep it solid. Well,
You said you were
great, thank you. Go ahead.
Appreciate it. Thank you. My name is Doug Vergach. I'm the mayor of town of Veta. I have with me Heather Gillis. She's our town clerk. And sitting here in the first chair is our engineer for the project, Dana Kerniger from GMS Engineering. We're here today to talk to you about this baby right here. It's our ancient water treatment plant. This puppy's been online 52 years. And because it's been online for 52 years, believe it or not, when I was in college, I helped build this plant. So and look how old I am. So you know what this thing's been through. But our project description is the plant is just obsolete. It doesn't, it was never constructed 50 years ago to meet current standards for water cleanliness. So you can't use a 52-year-old plant to make water of today's standards. So we need to construct a new water treatment plant. We're going to use conventional water technology, treatment technology, so we don't have any, surprises as we go along or any unanticipated costs, and we can determine, maintenance and O&M on it as under standard costs. We're going to make it fully automated and a modern facility. Our current facility, entirely manual. It needs to be turned off and on by a guy standing there. So we have one operator. He works 7 days a week because that plant has to run 7 days a week to make enough water for the town of Veta. We'll use the existing building that you saw in the first slide, but we'll have to add a piece onto that building. And as part of that, we'll provide some new clear well storage in that building. Currently, under the state standards for contact chlorination, we have two tanks, one 250 and 500,000 gallon tank to make 750,000 gallons. But under the contact chlorine rules, we can only use about 2/3 of those tanks, the bottom 2/3 of those tanks. So in essence, we've got 750,000 gallon storage, but 500,000 in real storage. This will allow us to reutilize those two tanks to their full potential. So we'll, in essence, gain $250,000 in storage. And then one of our key elements of this is we intend to install solar panels on that. Under current costs, we estimate it'll save about 20%. But the rumble is in our area that our electric company, San Isabel Electric Company, on the 1st of the year will be applying for a huge rate increase in PUC. So this number probably, will be 30-40% instead of 20%. The time frame for this project was on hold. We were under order for the state health department to construct a new wastewater treatment plant, which thanks to part funding by DOLA. I don't know, I think some of you were on the board when I spoke before. To DOLA, we were able to construct a new $6.6 million wastewater treatment plant because we discharge into a class 1 cold water fishery. So, it's a best top notch. But because of administration, this is our administrator, our sole administrator for these projects, we decided to delay a second project until we could finish the first project. That first project, that wastewater treatment plant is done. It's online. We're just finishing up a few details. So we're going for this. So we anticipated this actual water treatment project to go in 2021. When COVID and supply chains and everything delayed our wastewater treatment plant for a full year. So we're coming in now. We have it in our 2023 budget and also in our 2024 budget anticipated under our capital improvement plan. Our needs assessment is under review. I think we just finished that. I think came out the 1st of June. We'll be submitting an application to a revolving loan fund for the remainder of this project. By the way, this project is estimated to cost just under $4.4 million. We're asking $1 million from energy impact, which means approximately 23% of the project will be covered under this and help us defray costs if we get this grant from you guys. And we expect the entire project to be completed in about 12 to 18 months after we get funding. So hopefully by the end of 2024, we'd be able to be totally online, functioning and online. You know, as time passes, it's just more difficult to create water of current standards with a plant of our vintage. It's manually operated. We're also we're right at the edge of what was a spring fire in 2018. If you the spring fire backed up within a half mile of the town of Veta. We thought we were going to lose the town on several occasions, but you know, we're always worried that we have a plant that our workers who operators who live in town may not be able to get to the plant because they may be isolated by, you know, floods that still cause, because the devastation was the burn was so great. We're still anticipating flooding if we get some significant monsoon rains. So we're worried about that. And the repairs, you know, we just can't. We had a blower go out on this plant. It took just this spring in March. It took us 2 months to find a blower that would, and we had it shipped in from Indiana. When it got here, the inlet from our old blower was this way. The inlet from the new blower was this way. 7 days of fabrication, put the new blower in by our maintenance guys. And he's just telling us it's only working about half the time. You just can't, you know, it's modern, working on old technology, you know, and you're trying to make the two together, it just doesn't work. So this is our #1 priority, get a new water treatment plant online. You know, it'll reduce costs. We're hoping the solar component of that will help offset maintenance costs and so forth. We've had continuous meetings for at least 3 years, 4 years with the community, outreach meetings with the community, town board meetings where the community's been invited to discuss this. They know, you know, that we need this and we need it desperately. And let me get this. And lastly, thank you. You can see that currently, well, we have a 31.18 monthly fee. We increased that from 26.18 in anticipation of this project coming on in 2021. And our usage rate was increased from $3 to $4 per 1,000 gallons. We understand that, you know, based on cost of these estimates or cost of construction and so forth, these rates may have to go up depending on what the actual bids come in for the plant. We plan on going to revolving loan fund and leveraging this grant with revolving loan fund to try to get as much of the remainder of funding as possible. We have been given a $600,000 congressional directed funding through Congressman Hickenlooper. So that's going into this plant also. But you can see the average, our income average in town of Veta is only $45,009, less than 46,000. States is 80,000, over 80,000. The bill right now for town of Veta is on average, if you take the base charge and add in their UC, you know, 3 or 4, is 4922. You know, 4922 over 45,000 versus for the state average 55 over 80,000. You can see that comparatively speaking, dollar for dollar, citizens of the town of Veta, which is about 900 people, are paying, you know, almost 30% more right now for water. But they understand that we may even have to go higher than that to get that. And that's it. Oh, nice picture. Ah, this is a view from one of our, it's called Town Lake. That's the plant just below it, and you can see the two-way storage tanks to each side of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Heather, was there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, please.
Okay, great. Any questions?
Along with this plant that you're looking at, you mentioned that you've got a burn scar still near you.
Yes.
Are you worried about debris at your intake?
We actually, we are, and, but as part of a project for this, to mitigate the burn scar, damage from the burn scar, the town is a participant in an early warning system. It's the only one in the state of Colorado. It was constructed by Sutron Engineering, which is now Otto out of Germany. But we have these early warning devices on each one of the major tributaries that come into the town. And these tell us the crest and the speed of the water coming. And they will give us an alert on all our cell phones. And that's located about 44 minutes by stream time upstream.
Enough time for somebody.
So we can get somebody up there, get it turned off and get out. And we have the same, there's 5, and you can see 3 of the streams coming into town. You can see those little lines of trees
Yeah,
coming in.
yep.
And unfortunately, La Veta is at the confluence of all 5 of them. So we've been, it keeps me up at night thinking about that.
Have you had problems?
We have not, but knock on wood, and we've created a matrix for these 5 deals. And now we know that if we get flooding out of any one of the 5 singly, because the monsoons typically move along the front range there, we probably won't have a problem. Even if we've dumped 5 inches of rain, if we have 2 at the confluence, we just got to start worrying at 3. We've got to start. So we have an entire evacuation plan in for the town of La Veta, how to move people out of the low areas. About 40% of the town is in the floodplain that would be inundated. The rest is, we've actually created this system in the town of La Veta that they're now using naturally, and it's called the Flood Buddy system. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but people that have friends who live up on the high ground and the low ground, they've made this compact so they can go from their house uphill to their buddy's house. And so we have continual meetings about that. Don't forget it. We also have 3 RV parks, all of them in the floodplains that take up to 300 RVs that come in. We disseminate that information to the park owners, go around and put it on each one of the park attendees, because we take it seriously. I mean, an event like we're seeing outdoors here, in short order can turn into a terrible flood. Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Jillian.
Thank you. The prefab clarifier units or the filter units, are you gonna have to do anything to add for the PFAS requirements that are yet to come for removal? I know we've just all been hit with removal requirements.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the quality of your water in La Veta, but knowing that these requirements are gonna get more and more steep for us.
Yeah. We've had, I'm sorry.
I was just wondering, I'm pretty familiar with these units, so I'm wondering
Sure.
if you're gonna have to do another project in the next couple of years to be able to meet those, or is this something that meets that already?
Yeah. I think we've had the and Dana may be best to speak to this, but we've added the carbon component to it.
And I was trying to read in there.
Yeah.
And I was so fascinated to listen to what you were saying, so I
okay.
might have missed it.
As a recent addition, anticipating that, we've added the activated carbon.
Okay, so that's in there.
And if you look through that, some of these things are like the potassium permanganate. This sorbate here turns over sometimes in the summer. So the potassium permanganate is an additive to make the water, to take the fish taste out of the water. Yeah. So we've tried to anticipate where we're going to have to be with the log reductions and upcoming requirements.
Yeah.
I hope it's built into this, because I know we're all expecting that's gonna be like 4 times an expense for all of us who are doing filtration like this. So.
Well, you know what? We'll take a note of that and we'll make sure that it's built into it. So even if it adds cost, it adds cost today.
You might be back here next year.
Yeah. I would rather.
It's scary though.
I'd rather have the bad news once than.
Yeah.
Have a new plant online and then get the bad news.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Okay, Gigi.
So how many employees do you have that work in the city?
In the city, we have a full-time operator for the water. We've had to hire a full-time operator for the wastewater treatment plant because it's a single, that's a single stage reactor, so it needs a full-time employee. We have 2 full-time maintenance personnel at one time. We have 1 maintenance that's on extended leave, so it would be 3 when he comes back. And then in addition to that, we have a marshal's office, and then we have
4 in my office.
4 in her office, in the clerk's office.
It's kind of a decent staff.
It is, yeah, we, you know, we're lucky. You know, like small towns everywhere, they struggle. We're blessed to have the mountains.
Yeah.
You know, and the mountains draw people. And so we've been able to have a really pretty stable population, although it's growing, you know, but we've always been able to have a stable population. We've been able to have, you know, sufficient housing, although that's got out of hand expensive now, you know, so we're worried about some of those things, but up to this time, we've been able to accommodate. And as a town philosophy, we've always said, you know what, the infrastructure is what we need to provide. We need to provide clean water. We need to provide our wastewater treatment plant that works accurately. We're really strict on making sure that all our main lines, water and sewer, are up to par, up to date, completely GIS'd, so we know the depth and everything of them. So we try to do that.
Did you used to work for the city?
No, I didn't. I was actually a South Regional Supervisor for Division of Water Resources. I retired in January.
Oh, how lucky is that for them?
Because we were talking about.
We're like, you know an awful lot.
Yeah, I work for the state program.
Okay,
Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Good.
thank you for
Thank
your
you.
service to
Well-
the state. I know you've been a real leader in the water world.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, well, you know, we appreciate you guys staying, you know, we're only here for 15 minutes. We appreciate the 3 days that you spent here and wish you luck and wish us luck also. Thank you.